In the very start, I think a large part of the challenge were around fundamental missing building blocks of what it needed to have a good ecosystem, right? There was always this chicken and egg issue around funding and investors.
Yeah.
And I remember that while the government played a really amazing role at trying to make sure that there was capital, it never felt like there was enough. So everything we did, right, there were always bigger questions around, okay, how do you get to Series A? How do you get to Series B? Does the ecosystem have that support of it? Rather than focusing back on really the companies and what they were doing. So I think the earlier part from maybe 2012 to 2015, that was the first part of the challenge. From 2015 to like 2018, I think those were the boom days. There was capital coming in. There was starting to be really good companies coming out. I remember that was also the period where there were so many different programs to support founders, both on the capital, the talent, the market access side. And more importantly, there were also interesting, like people with the right backgrounds from corporate that were willing to say, hey, look, I'm going to leave my corporate opportunity, jump into this startup bandwagon and raise capital. And I think there was also the early formulations of interesting ideas and verticals that had started to shape up. Like fintech was really starting to shape up to be an interesting vertical. Health tech was another big area
Yeah.
starting out, but I think hasn't really fully reached its full potential. The B2B marketplaces had been starting up. 2012, that period was still very consumer centric. And with consumer comes the need for a lot of capital and that's where a lot of the theses would fail. But 2015 to 18 was, I think, a larger emergence of B2B. And I remember even at the tail end, you started to have sub-micro verticals around, let's say, mental health,
Yeah.
or you had the
Yeah.
logistics supply chain
Right.
channels that started coming up. And along with these problems and opportunities came an interesting diversity of corporate venture funds, later stage funds, international funds.